Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 12th of September 2022 and I'm looking at the price of cryptocurrencies in the early morning hours in the Middle East. So technically it is still Sunday in UK, US and Canada and most parts of the world as well. Now the price of the entire cryptocurrency market has crossed the $1 trillion mark and Bitcoin has crossed the $21,000 mark. And could it be possible that in the next coming days Ethereum crosses the $2,000 mark as the merge date kicks in? So we'll just have to wait for a few days to see if that's going to happen. So what are your price predictions, guys? So do you guys think in the next coming months, probably in the next 6 months or so, Ethereum flips Bitcoin? Now I definitely do think that Ethereum flips Bitcoin probably 6 to 9 months from now, but we're just going to have to wait and see. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing Michael Saylor. Now his company MicroStrategy is planning to buy $500 million worth of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now at this point of time, it is not clear if they are going to be buying other cryptocurrencies as well. But knowing Michael Saylor, who was the former CEO of MicroStrategy, he only talks about Bitcoin. So there is a very high possibility that a lot of the funds, or all of the funds, will actually go into buying more Bitcoin. So personally, I'm not a fan of Michael Saylor, and I'm going to be explaining why it is not a good idea of MicroStrategy buying so much of Bitcoin. Because at the end of the day, the big question is, who is Bitcoin meant to be? Is it meant for the multi-billionaires, millionaires, or is it for an average individual or average citizen? The whole idea of Bitcoin is that it is a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So we're going to be discussing that in detail. And we'll also be discussing the race for stable coins. Now since the last few days, guys, what I've been noticing is that the Binance stablecoin has been gaining a lot of momentum. As a matter of fact, it has overtaken Circle USDC's volume as well. So when we start the podcast, I will be explaining the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance. We'll also be discussing the stablecoin matrix as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see which stablecoin does actually win the race, or will it be central bank digital currencies that would overtake all the stable coins? So a lot of drama will eventually take place, hopefully in 2023 or 2024. Towards the end of the episode, we're also going to be discussing KPMG, and they have released a report that is discussing the price predictions in the year 2020 and most likely 2023 as well. Now regarding UAE, we have two news. The first one is an absolutely massive news, that is blockchain.com. Now what they want to do is they want to open an office in Dubai, and they have secured a preliminary regulatory approval. So absolutely massive news. And blockchain.com has been in the cryptocurrency space going back to 2011. The second news is Crypto PR, and they are planning to help Web3 and crypto companies onboard in Dubai. So definitely brilliant news for cryptocurrencies, brilliant news for Dubai as well. So let's kickstart today's episode. So welcome everyone, it's Hatem, you're in Dubai, you're listening to Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover some top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And this is followed by Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. And every Fridays we have an episode called Metaverse Everything, where we solely focus on Metaverse. So please check out those episodes as well. And the format for Metaverse Everything podcast is completely different. And what I tend to do is I tend to publish a daily and weekly report via my LinkedIn profile. My LinkedIn profile is in the show notes below. Or guys, you can also go to the Medium website and just type in blockchain DXB. So let's kickstart today's episode. Today is the 12th of September. And once again, guys, I'm looking at the price at the wee early hours in Dubai. And it is still Sunday in US, UK and Canada and most part of the world. Now the global crypto market is about the $1 trillion mark. As of today, it is $1.06 trillion. And since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.32%. The total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is $67.24 billion. Now since the last 24 hours, it is down by 9.87%. Now, these numbers are really interesting considering the fact that it is a weekend. Now, if you've been listening to my podcast since the last 6 months or so, I've been saying that especially on weekends, the volume does go ridiculously low. Now, today it is still low, but it is still high. It is $67.24 billion, which in general cryptocurrency terms is a ridiculously low volume. But if you look at 2022, this number for the weekend is definitely doing good. So this number for the weekend is definitely good. Now let's look at the total volume in DeFi. The total volume in DeFi since the last 24 hours is $4.88 billion, and the total value locked has gone up to $60.26 billion. MakerDAO accounts for 14.25% of all the total value locked, and currently $8.59 billion has been locked in MakerDAO protocol, and DeFi accounts for 7.26% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now we're going to be discussing the stable coins today. The volume of stable coins as of today is $61.7 billion. The value of all stable coins today is $61.78 billion. Now once again guys, this is a ridiculously low volume, but considering the fact that this is 2022 and on a Sunday or technically Monday as per Dubai time, the numbers are definitely much better. Now Tether.to USDT does account for $47.21 billion out of the $61.78 billion. Apart from that, Circle's USDC is $5.20 billion. But the biggest surprise for me is Binance USD's volume that is up by $8.5 billion. And to be completely honest, I haven't been paying attention to Binance USD's 24-hour trading volume. But since the last 3 to 4 days, there has been a massive jump in the volume of Binance USD. It is a bit surprising to see that the Binance USD's volume is much higher than Circle's USDC. And one thing guys, which I've been saying since the past 3 months or so, stable coins accounting for 90% of the entire cryptocurrency market is not a good thing, because central bank digital currencies will be pitching to use CBDCs, and the stable coins account for 91.88% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And we'll be briefly discussing what Binance is doing so far as Tether USDT and USDC is concerned. Some really spicy information. Now let's look at the comparison between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now the market share of Ethereum is definitely well over 50% of that of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's market share is $413 billion, whereas Ethereum's market share is well over 50% of that of Bitcoin. It is at $215 billion. Now, if you were to compare this market share when Bitcoin was at its all-time high, Bitcoin's market share alone was $1.3 trillion. And at that point of time, Ethereum's market share was hovering somewhere between $600 to $650 billion. Now, despite it being 1/3 of what its original market share is, this market share does seem to be looking promising considering the fact that there is Ethereum merge date kicking up in the next few days. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $34.7 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $12.6 billion. And once again, guys, considering the fact that it is a Sunday, these numbers does look good. The dominance of Bitcoin is 39.09%, whereas Ethereum's dominance is 20.40%. Now let's look at the price of the top 3 cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is currently at $21,622, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.56%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 8.69%. Ethereum is up to $1,764. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 1.58%. And since the last 7 days, it's 12.53%. Now, do you guys think with the merge date kicking up, does the price of Ethereum cross the $2,000 mark? Now, personally, what I think is that the price will start to dump as and when the merge date kicks in. Now, once again, my price predictions is 100% right 50% of the time. Binance Coin is currently at $294. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.34%. And since the last 7 days, it is up by 6.26%. So if you look at the screenshot of the top 5 cryptocurrencies, it does look green, but the numbers are ridiculously low in comparison to when Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were at its all-time high. Now let's talk today about Michael Saylor. Now Michael Saylor is the CEO of MicroStrategy. Now guys, straight up front, he's if not one of the worst persons to be the advocate of Bitcoin. And the massive news is that MicroStrategy is planning to sell up to $500 million of stock to fund more cryptocurrency purchases. Now they have an official filing with SEC, that is the Security Exchange Commission. Now you can find the official filing in my LinkedIn profile. If you actually read through the official filing, it does say cryptocurrencies. It does not specifically say Bitcoin, but if you know Michael Saylor, who's the former CEO of MicroStrategy, he's a Bitcoin maximalist, and his Twitter, he's been providing with a lot of incorrect and fake news information about Bitcoin. Now there is a very high possibility that the entire $500 million does go into Bitcoin. So my big question is Bitcoin meant for billionaires or multi-billionaires and millionaires, or is Bitcoin meant for average individuals? When Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the white paper, his whole idea was that Bitcoin to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, but with the accumulation of Bitcoin in the hands of selected few, that is multi-billionaires like Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, celebrities and early adopters, Bitcoin does not seem to be ideal so far as the peer-to-peer electronic cash system is concerned. You also need to remember that over 90% of Bitcoin has already been distributed. Now, Michael Saylor has been tweeting a lot of fake news and incorrect news via his Twitter, and the answer is pretty simple. The reason he is doing that, he wants to pump the demand for Bitcoin, and by doing that, his existing net value in Bitcoin increases by providing a lot of incorrect information. He does have quite a lot of followers. I think he's got more than 2 million followers. People will believe what he is saying. They will buy in the promise of Bitcoin, and they would actually buy Bitcoin. And if they do that, the price of Bitcoin increases, and his net value and MicroStrategy's net value in Bitcoin does actually increase. Now, just on a side note, you need to remember that Michael Saylor is also currently being sued by the District of Columbia for tax fraud. Now, this is definitely not ideal. And Michael Saylor is no longer the CEO of MicroStrategy as well. And if you go through his tweets, all of these tweets just seems absolutely nonsense. So you really need to make sure that whatever he does actually mention, do your own research. And one thing which I seriously worry is that with the accumulation of Bitcoin with MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor and them being involved in the Bitcoin Mining Council, will it be possible for the state and the US government to force him directly or indirectly to make changes to the Bitcoin's code or ecosystem, the changes in terms of proof of work to proof of stake? Now, historically, Bitcoin has had a very strong allergic reaction to councils, and I'm hoping that does actually continue. Now, what would also happen if, let's say, MicroStrategy decides to dump all of its Bitcoin? It's going to be terrible for the price of Bitcoin. So definitely not good. Now, let's discuss stable coins and the race of stable coins. Now, if you look at it at a macro level, who wins the war so far as stable coins is concerned? Is it going to be Tether.to USDT, Circle USDC, or Binance USD, which I've been noticing just since the past few days, or will it be central bank digital currencies? Now, central bank digital currencies are definitely going to go mainstream by 2023. Now, what you can do is go to my website, that is blockchaindxb.com, and I do have a document where I explain central bank digital currencies, I explain its basics, and I give reasons why it could be a threat to freedom. And I also discuss some of the benefits of central bank digital currencies, that is its use case in metaverse, and they do solve the whole banking, the unbanked. But at the end of the day, central bank digital currencies are extremely centralized. So my big question to you guys is, when you talk about stable coins at a macro level and giving a 2 years horizon, who wins the stable coins? And this is purely in terms of usage. Will Tether USDT still dominate the stable coin, or will it be Circle USDC, or will it be Binance? Now, Cointelegraph has actually published an article that Binance removes 3 stable coins and has no plans to auto-convert Tether. And the article actually goes and explains what Binance is doing. So definitely worth reading through the article. any users that are currently still holding the 3 stablecoins on the 29th will begin to have their holdings auto-converted into Binance USD. What that essentially means is, let's say in your Binance account, if you have X number of Tether USDT, X number of Tether USDC, it will be automatically converted into Binance USD. CZ, who's the CEO of Binance, did actually clear a lot of confusion, and he tweeted that they are just merging all the liquidity into one pair. So the big question is, if that thing happens, could it be possible that all of the volumes does switch from Tether USDT to Binance USD? I definitely think so. But the big worrisome thing for me is central bank digital currencies. Now what I plan to do is, guys, probably in the next 2 weeks time or so, I do want to have a session via Eventbrite explaining everything about stablecoin. So I'm going to be explaining the history of stablecoins, the Tether USDT's role in stablecoin. We'll also briefly discuss its transparency. We'll also look at Circle USDC. We'll also look at Binance USD, and we'll try to compare it with central bank digital currencies. And I haven't decided the date for it yet, so hopefully in 2 weeks time or so, I will putting it out on my LinkedIn profile, and the event most likely will happen on the first or the second week of October. Now let's look at another news regarding predictions of the cryptocurrency market. KPMG, which is the top leading auditing firm in the world, has released a report called as the Pulse of FinTech H1 2022. Now this document is a 62-page document, and they discuss the whole payment space. They also talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency space that has taken a massive hit in the market, and they're also discussing the trends to watch out in H2 of 2022. Now what they claim is that the slowdown in cryptocurrency investment will continue in the second half of 2022. Now this is a 62-page document. What I really liked in this document is that they did actually mention the top global firms and their deals in 2022, and surprisingly a lot of them were from Australia, from Singapore, and in India. So companies like Afterpay, Yayoi, and Superhero were in the top 3. So definitely brilliant and a surprising news. Now guys, let's talk about 2 news from UAE. The first one is an absolutely massive one, and that is blockchain.com, and they have decided to open an office in Dubai after securing preliminary regulatory approval. So let me go ahead and briefly explain to you what blockchain.com is. Now blockchain.com is the OG in the cryptocurrency space, and they were launched in 2011. Now when I got involved in cryptocurrencies in 2013, my only source of information was blockchain.com, but that time the website was blockchain.info. They just recently changed from blockchain.info to blockchain.com. Now they are headquartered in Luxembourg, and it essentially is a cryptocurrency financial services company, and the company began as the first Bitcoin blockchain explorer in 2011 and later created a cryptocurrency wallet that currently accounts for 28% of Bitcoin transactions between 2012 and 2020. Now to be completely honest, I've only been using blockchain.info for the first 3 to 4 years when I got involved in cryptocurrencies, and the CEO is Peter Smith, but the board of directors has Anthony Jenkins, and Anthony Jenkins used to be the former CEO of Barclays Bank. Now Barclays is an absolute giant in the fintech industry. Now I do remember reading Anthony Jenkins' article in 2016 where he talked about how the banking industry is on the verge of collapse, and with the rise in cryptocurrencies, most likely he's definitely right. Now Roger Ver, who's also called as the Bitcoin Jesus, was the early investor in blockchain.info, or called as blockchain.com. So loads of heavy duty players in the blockchain.com space. And if you go to the website, they have a section called Academy. Now listen guys, if you do want to learn anything about Bitcoin, go to the website and look out for source under Academy. It has loads of useful information. And they also have Bitcoin Explorer, and to be honest, I always look at blockchain.com in order to validate and check the transactions. So loads of useful information in the Bitcoin Explorer section. And currently, they also have a section under the Explorer which talks about current update on the Ethereum 2.0 merge date. So definitely useful information. So the news is that Dubai grants provisional approval to crypto firm blockchain.com, And the CEO, Peter Smith, he actually mentioned Twitter that the London-based crypto firm blockchain.com has won a provisional approval to operate in Dubai, becoming the latest in a series of digital asset companies expanding in the Gulf as the region looks to become a hub for blockchain technology. And he tweeted this on Friday the 9th, and he put up an article from Reuters, and it said that blockchain.com has signed an agreement with Dubai's crypto regulator, WARA, that is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, and would soon open an office in the region and begin hiring. Now, if you are someone who is looking to work, believe it or not, guys, blockchain.com are the OGs, and if not, one of the biggest cryptocurrency firms in the world. Now, let's talk about the second news of UAE, that is about Cryptopr.io. Now, Cryptopr claims to be one of the first blockchain and digital transformation advisory firms around the world and the first to set a footprint in the Middle East with current operations in Dubai, New York, and Hong Kong. Now, really, I'm not sure if they are truly the first, because there are quite a lot of firms in Dubai that has been doing what Cryptopr is currently doing right now. So Cryptopr does support, advise, and manage campaigns for crypto projects, corporate and financial entities, academic and governmental institutions. And Cryptopr is helping the Web3 and crypto companies on board in Dubai, and the digital transformation took the lead in the most trending corporate search in 2020 as Dubai-based Cryptopr is paving the way in Web 3.0. So what they're essentially trying to do is for new companies who are trying to merge or getting connected with cryptocurrencies and blockchain, they are going to be assisting them. And among the main enablers of this location shifting is Cryptopr. Seeing the progressive city's tolerance towards practicing new technologies, Cryptopr is seeing the opportunity to display the city's positive narrative about Web3 across the global events and conferences, helping many crypto, NFT, metaverse, and other Web3 enterprises onboard smoothly with a well-calculated strategic plan. And Web3 and blockchain enterprises, mainly cryptocurrency exchanges, seek moving to Dubai on a set of advantages the city offers, and among them is the new standardized Virtual Asset Regulations Law, which was introduced to set in the UAE as a regional and global player in the crypto market. Now, to be honest, I would have called them an OG in this space if they would have set up the base in Dubai maybe in 2018 or 19. So I really am not sure if they are the OGs in the Middle East, but what it says as per the article is that Cryptopr is the first Web3 agency in the Middle East since its inception in 2017, and it has built relationship with global projects and institutions that have interests with blockchain technology. Among these that Cryptopr have supported are Avalanche, Bit Digital, HSBC, and many crypto entrepreneurs from Oxford University. Web3 and blockchain enterprises, mainly cryptocurrency exchanges, seek moving to Dubai based on a set of advantages the city offers, and among them is the standardized virtual asset regulations, which I just talked about a few minutes ago. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they play in a competing market. And Mohammed Halwani, who is the founder and CEO of Cryptopr, has said, "We saw an opportunity in Dubai for Web3 startups. The best way to summarize it is that it's a progressive modern city, ideally located in the world, offering great corporate incentives along with sunny weather all year round. Dubai is at the top of the list at best places to register Web3 and crypto enterprises. It comes from a combination of advantageous specs of the city, such as the ease of relocation, speed of company registration, active crypto community, and most importantly, the progressive and modern lifestyle. So definitely they're making the best use case of PR in the cryptocurrency space. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this thing plays out in the next coming few months and in the years. So that's all for today, guys, on the Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. You can also check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com. And you can also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this, please follow this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now, for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions about Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee a Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee a Date works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. What you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. I have a question by Rohan who asks, what fake news has Michael Saylor tweeted? Well, Rohan, thank you so much for asking this question. Now, straight off the bat, Rohan, all of his tweets are absolutely misleading. I'm not a fan of Michael Saylor at all, but I'm not going to give you my explanation because I dislike him, brother. I'll try to give the information based on the facts. He only got introduced to Bitcoin since 2020, so a lot of the information that he is giving is incorrect and misleading. The one of them being he actually tweeted a few months ago was that 1 Bitcoin is equal to 1 Bitcoin, and he's talking that in terms of the fungibility aspect of Bitcoin. This is false information. 1 Bitcoin is not equal to 1 Bitcoin because newly mined Bitcoins are actually sold at a premium, and Bitcoins which are confiscated are sold at a lesser price. So 1 Bitcoin is not equal to 1 Bitcoin, and this is the topic so far as the fungibility is concerned. If you look at cash, $10 is equivalent to $10, so cash is 100% fungible. As a matter of fact, Adam Back, who's the CEO of Blockstream, and who I particularly think is Satoshi Nakamoto, has put up a brilliant video where he actually goes and thinks that why 1 Bitcoin is not 1 Bitcoin, and he's talking that purely in terms of the fungibility aspect is concerned, and he talks about how doing transactions on Bitcoin is not at all ideal as all the transactions are open space. But going back to Michael Saylor's point, that is one incorrect information. If you follow his Twitter account, he also has mentioned that Bitcoin has never had a downtime in the past. 100% fake news and incorrect information. Bitcoin has had a couple of downtimes in the past. The block producing did actually stop for well over 9 hours or so. One thing which a lot of the people in the Bitcoin space and cryptocurrency space don't know is that there was a flaw in Bitcoin where you could actually have 51% attack, but one of the developers from Bitcoin Cash, he actually highlighted this to Bitcoin, and this is the beauty of the Bitcoin developer system. Rather than doing a 51% attack, which he could have done, he could have made billions and billions of dollars, but he decided to share that information with the Bitcoin core developers, and they went ahead and fixed it. And the code was wrong for well over a couple of months. So, there were quite a lot of misleading information which Michael Saylor is not aware about. But the danger is that a lot of the people do actually idolize Michael Saylor without even knowing what he is. On my LinkedIn profile, I see so many posts, people saying that Michael Saylor is my idol because of Bitcoin, but they don't even know what Michael Saylor is tweeting about. And as a follower who does not do any research, you will start to believe that everything what Michael Saylor is saying is true, and that definitely need not be the case. And Rohan, there's also a court case going on against Michael Saylor, and the court case is for tax evasion, and essentially it also calls out Michael Saylor as defrauding the system. So apart from that, all of the information that he says is absolutely incorrect. He also says that Bitcoin is digital energy. Now I must admit that Michael Saylor does have a history and a working experience in physics, and he might be a genius in that, but if he was such a genius, why did he get involved in Bitcoin as late as 2020? Now, before 2020, he had no experience in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, so the information that he's putting out is very limited. I do like Michael Saylor in the sense that, he does do a couple of good things, like he does have a website where he provides free education, and something which I mentioned in my previous episode, that he does have a series with Dr. Saifuddin Amos where they talk about the Bitcoin standard, and all of the information is great. But as an advocate for Bitcoin, I definitely don't think so he's the right person. And the big question, Rowan, is What happens if Michael Saylor decides to sell all the Bitcoin? Definitely not good. If you've been following me, Rohan, via LinkedIn, last year they had an event called as the B event, and the B standard for Bitcoin. And there was Michael Saylor, there was Jack Dorsey from Twitter, there was Elon Musk. If you read through my LinkedIn profile, what I did was I looked at the price few hours before the event went live, few moments while the event was going on, and after the event ended. And if you can look at the price difference, the price did pump up. Now, the craziest thing is, Rohan, that they wanted this event for institutional investors, not for the people. And that goes back to the whole point of Bitcoin. Why was Bitcoin created? Was Bitcoin created for multi-billionaires, millionaires, billionaires, celebrities, or early adopters? Or is Bitcoin the money for people? At this point of time, unfortunately, it is not the money for people. If you look at the number of people buying and selling Bitcoin, are there people from developed countries who can buy Bitcoin at a hefty price tag of $21,000? Or can people in Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, or underdeveloped countries, can they afford to buy Bitcoin? Now, one argument what Bitcoin maximalists would do is that you don't need to buy the entire Bitcoin, rather you can only buy a few Satoshis. The reason, Rohan, they are giving you this argument is so that they can pump the demand for Bitcoin. You would go ahead and buy Bitcoin, and by doing that, the price of Bitcoin increases and their existing net value in Bitcoin increases. So, personally, I'm definitely not a fan of Michael Saylor at all. So, that's all for today, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop them in the comments below. If you do have any feedback, drop me an email at info@blockchaindxb.com and check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxb.com. You can also check out my other website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., we have Crypto and Coffee a Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee a Date works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East from the cryptocurrency world. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions from the cryptocurrency world. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.